Attention, Wild Nation!
Mikasa Sukasa. You Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Look like Eddie Guerrero, man. You like to watch wrestling?
Yep.
Have you ever watched wrestling? On weed? That's the way to see it, man! It's rock!
Wrestling on weed.
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 Wrestling on weed. Subscribe today. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem.
It's time for the Blunt Ratings. If this is your first time tuning in, this is how the Blunt Ratings work. We take each show.
How the Blunt Ratings work is we give each match that happened on the pay-per-view a Blunt Rating. It's different than the regular weekly shows. I should probably do an intro for the pay-per-views. But nonetheless, it's your boy, Mr. HD, and I am here with the Clash at the Castle Blunt Ratings. We going to get through this fast because I am on daddy duty. We not going to detail all the matches because obviously I want you guys to watch it. If you haven't already, and you should watch it because it was an amazing pay-per-view. We had the kickoff show. It was Street Profits and Street Profits teaming up with Madcap Moss, and they went up against Alpha Academy in Theory. Babyfaces won. Montez Ford hit a crazy blockbuster to the outside of the ring and a frog splash for the win. Chad Gable had a couple German suplexes that were cool, but other than that, it was a match. It was a pre-show match. We started the show off with the match that should have started the show off. It was the 3-on-3 match between the ladies. We had Bianca Belair teaming up with Alexa Bliss and Asuka going up against Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I mean, Bayley and Belair started the match. Obviously, there were some cheap shots in there. All the ladies jumped in the ring at one point. They all start battling. It was, we had Bianca was in there doing everything she do. She did suplexes and handspring moonsaults and did all that shit. She covered all three of them at one time, but no, it didn't work out. I ain't gonna detail this whole match because this was like the least match of the show. It's not the right phrasing, but this was the match the only match that I didn't like thoroughly enjoy. It was just kind of, it was there. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It could have been on Monday Night Raw if you ask me. But Damage Control did end up getting the win. They ran wild at the end. Dakota Kick hit a whatever she calls her running kick in the corner. And then got the pin. So good. Bayley got the pin. She came in and rolled up Bianca Belair. So her and Bianca are probably going to be feuding going into the future, which is great. I want to see Bayley versus Bianca Belair for sure. Moving on to the matches that got crazy. We had Gunther and Sheamus. All right, so what do you want me to say? These guys beat the dog crap out of each other. Started off, they were just both chopping the shit out of each other. Sheamus' chest was red within 30 seconds. Gunther's literally just picking him up and smacking him, holding his arm, pulling him back up, smacking. Like it was, I called it during the match. It was probably about, shout out to Deshaun Braxton for the sub. Thank you for joining Wild Nation, my guy, for sure. Andrew, I see you in the chat. Clash the Castle was dope pay-per-view event. Yes, it was, but it wasn't a pay-per-view. It was a premium live event. The pay-per-view is tomorrow, AEW. But yeah, this match was crazy. Like I said, they was chopping the crap out of each other. Sheamus came back, they probably did like 2 wrestling moves in the first 10 minutes of the match. Like, it was kicks and strikes, forearms, punches, chops, a couple boots. I think somebody did a suplex in there at some point, but it was basically just them actually fighting. It was brutal. Everything, they was working stiff as hell. There was a couple shots. Those forearm shots landed stiff. There was a kick to Sheamus's head that was ridiculous. It looked like he should have been out after that. Yeah, and, you know, it was a great match, man. Sheamus got a hold of Gunther once he started making his comeback and start doing the beats. I don't know what it's called. I just call it the beats. I can't pronounce what the hell they call that. But he did it on the outside on the announce table. Then he got him on the ring apron. He did it like 3 different times where he just pounding on that man's chest. And it did not sound healthy at all. And it's like, you can crush a sternum like that. His heart's going to stop. Stop beating him in his chest. It was crazy. It's like, you know, the most physical match of the night by far. And there was a couple other physical matches on the card for sure, but this one was super hard hitting. Some great kick out moments where we thought that it would be over. Sheamus hit white noise at one point. You know, he never got, I don't think he ever hit a bro kick, but it is what it is. Gunther hit him with a power bomb. That wasn't enough to get the win. So we picked him up and hit him with a fucking JBL clothesline. It was a vicious clothesline to knock him out and get the W. So he's still the WWE Intercontinental Champion. So shout out to Gunther. My favorite match of the night easily was this match. This match was, I was literally like this, like, ouch, 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 ouch. I can't, it's too hard to watch. Yeah, but it was an extremely painful match, to say the least. So I enjoyed that one a whole lot. So shout out to Gunther and Sheamus. Sheamus was super over during the match. The crowd was going nuts for Sheamus. So even when he lost, the crowd still, got to sit in the ring after the match and get his flowers. The crowd gave him a massive round of, the crowd was great tonight. Like, we don't do crowd blunt ratings for pay-per-views, but the crowd gets a 5. You know what I mean? Hands down. After that, got the history of the Usos, like, you know, video package, whatever. I think that was on the WWE Network because I didn't actually see that. But yeah, Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler went at it after that for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. It was a great match. I love this match. The story they was telling is the story they should have been telling. Shayna being vicious and savage. She was beating the shit out of Liv. Like, I was like, damn, is Liv going to get a move in? For like the first 5 minutes, Shayna was just beating the dog shit out of her, fucking up her arm. So at one point, Liv, you know, her arm was basically useless. But then, ironically, that's when she started battling back. She started getting some offense in. She did a bunch of quick kicks, kind of like Asuka does every now and then with the quick moves. Asuka did them during her match, but, you know, she does them with the fish strike or whatever, the backhands. You know, she kind of did a bunch of strikes with her feet, got back in the match or whatever. Shayna was trying to, you know, put her in the whatever her fucking chokehold is. It's too many moves to talk about right now. But yeah, Shayna was trying to put her in chokehold. She kept reversing because she's been training with Matt Riddle. At one point, she jumped up and grabbed Shayna's arm and reversed some shit into an armbar triangle, which was dope. Then she transitioned the triangle into a vicious-looking armbar. I was like, oh shit, that armbar looks better than Becky's. Looks better than Becky and Ronda's. It looks like an actual armbar that you would see in the UFC. You know what I mean? I don't know what that shit is Ronda does where she twists her arm, and I don't know what the hell that shit is. It don't look like an armbar, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna say that it don't hurt because I ain't had it done to me before. So, yeah, this is a great match. Liv ended up winning with her finish. She did hit a sweet-ass code breaker, though. This sweet-ass code breaker off the ropes. She bounced off the ropes and pulled down for the code breaker. I was like, okay, Liv. Liv has been working extra hard in the ring, and that's why she has so much fan support, even after getting the dirty win over Ronda. She still had a lot of fan support because she's clearly been working her ass off to get good in the ring, and you got to appreciate anybody that's going hard like that to get good at their craft, and especially when it shows. You got to, you know, give them their props. And so she ended up winning with her finisher, the Oblivion, and it was a good match, man. The Oblivion didn't it didn't have the impact that it normally has. You know what I mean? She's supposed to slam their face into the mat. She kind of rolled through. It's kind of like a DDT and rolled through and did the pin, but it worked. I didn't care. It was fine. Yeah, I'll give you guys the blunt ratings for the matches at the end. After that, we had one of the biggest moments of the night. I ain't gonna talk about all. They showed some people in the crowd, some people. Bret Hart was in the crowd. They shouted out some OG wrestlers, all that stuff. Whatever. That's not the matches. We ain't talking about that. We had Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Judgment Day. After that, another pretty good match. It wasn't as good as the other matches on the card. You know what I mean? Outside of the first one, but it was a decent match, man. These guys did what they normally do. Rey Mysterio did what he normally does. Edge didn't do it. There wasn't nothing really special about this match. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing really crazy. Edge was sparing him of. It was a spear he speared Damian Priest off of the ring apron through the ropes. So it was kind of like the Big E spear. So that was kind of dope. You know what I mean? I appreciated Edge doing that at his age. It was what it was. The baby faces ended up getting the win because Dom was out there at ringside and he was helping his pops and Edge get the dub just by causing interference, being real heelish. Like, it was super heelish what he was doing. Like, why are you doing interference for the baby faces? Because they was about to take the L, and then he jumped up on the ring apron and distracted the ref so Edge and Rey Mysterio could get back in it. I was like, that ain't no baby face shit. That's weird. But clearly he wasn't a baby face anymore in his mind. He had a plan. So after they won, they were all celebrating the ring. Judgment Day's over there in the corner, all curled up, looking like losers. And he kicked Edge in the nuts. And then clotheslined the shit out of his father. Basically cut his head off, you know what I mean, with his arm. And that was that. That was the end of it. He walked off, stared at everybody, and walked off like, yeah, I'm a heel now, bitch. You know what I mean? His shirt was all torn. He, looked like he had that dog. You know what I mean? He finally found that dog, got that dog in him, as they say in sports. You know what I mean? So he's full-blown heel now at this point. He was getting booed on the way out, you know what I mean, to Cardiff. So, hey, I think we all pretty much saw this coming. So it's good that they actually executed the story, even though you see it coming. You still want the payoff at the end, so I'm glad that, it worked out. After he did that, Edge was basically begging Edge not to beat him up for his son doing that. You know what I mean? He dropped down to one knee like, please forgive me. It wasn't me. It was my son. Please don't hurt me. So that was a little weird with him doing that, but whatever. After that, it was Drew McIntyre hype package, whatever. They announced the attendance. 62,000 people, 62,296 to be exact. So that's a WrestleMania, you know what I mean, overseas in the UK. So it was cool. After that, we had Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins in a blood feud. The match I was probably looking forward to the most, just based on how the feud sparked, how it started off and how it ended the other day with that promo between these two guys. Man, they went at it, and I expected them to go out and beat the dog shit out of each other, and that's exactly what they did. Like, the match started off, they were just punching. Riddle came out doing a bunch of quick kicks, like yes kicks, and I was like, I don't like that. Like, you got a blood feud. Some dude just talked about your family. You should be trying to punch him in his mouth. Like, you should be trying to legit break his jaw, like not kick him in the ribs. I mean, I guess, but nah. Like, I'm throwing elbows and punches until I knock you out. You know what I mean? That's what a blood feud is. You're doing your move's a little too pretty right now for what y'all been going through. But anyways, it was a fire match. These two went at it. A ton of back and forth. Not a whole lot of limb work, because, that's not these guys' things, but there was a lot of move stealing. Seth Rollins kept stealing he stole Riddle's bro Derek. He did Randy Orton DDT. He faked like he was going to do the RKO by slapping the mat like Randy does, just taunting Riddle basically the whole time, getting in his head, which actually worked because Riddle basically was just too angry during the whole match. That's why I ended up picking Seth, which was one of the reasons I still have the lead in the predictions battle right now, and I got the win for the day, for the show, because I picked Seth to win, because I felt like Riddle, with everything that's been going on, Seth has been getting in his head, and that would work against him, even though he was, he could easily win the fight. I feel like that was, Seth getting in his head because Seth is a master manipulator. So he did his job and got in Riddle's head, and Riddle wasn't paying attention at one point, and I think he was sliding back in the ring or sliding somewhere in the ring, and he was hanging over the ropes. No, that wasn't that time. That's when he got DDT. But he was getting back in the ring, and he hit him with a curb stomp, and then he saw him crawling around, so he was like, hey, I should do that again. But this time, I'm going to climb on the second rope and do it. And yeah, he curb stomped him from the second rope, and it looked like Riddle broke his fucking neck. Like the way his neck went down, and I was like, hey, I don't like that. That's a little dangerous. I like the fact that it's a fake sport because I don't want to see people get their necks broken and shit like that. So, you know, it's not something I want to watch. I barely watch UFC because I don't want to see people just get bludgeoned for real. It's not entertaining. I mean, sometimes it can be, but it's not. You know what I mean? But so this match was great. Seth Rollins finally got a win. It's like his first win in fucking 12 years, it feels like. After those 3 losses to Cody, it was just like, bruh, you got to win a match. And that's another reason I picked Seth, because he's just been losing too much. So now he can, you know, have another match with Riddle. I think Extreme Rules is next. I don't see this feud being over with at all, even though Seth was like, see you never on his way out the arena. I don't think this feud is over by any stretch of the imagination, and it shouldn't be because these two are great, and they have chemistry, surprisingly, because they hated each other just not too long ago. So that's good. After that, we had Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, main event. I mean, 15 minutes of it was Roman Reigns walking to the ring. Obviously, he has the longest entrance in WWE history. I think he has surpassed The Undertaker as far as length of entrances. But entrance, big dog, you know, came out, did his thing. Drew came out first, but then, you know, to a crazy pop, by the way. Drew, like, they was on Drew's dick the whole time. Like, they was on him. Roman got booed. Roman don't be getting booed a lot. You know what I mean? They be indifferent or they cheering. You know what I mean? They was booing Roman in Cardiff. So Drew was super over. So they came out, and the match was slow, very slow. The first 5 to 10 minutes of the match were very slow, to where I was like, all right, guys, we got to pick this up. Like, I get it. Roman likes to sit there and pose and stare around and talk some shit and do all that, but y'all going to have to pick it up. But then they picked it up. You know what I mean? They definitely picked it up. These two just battered each other. They was trading punches. There was belly-to-belly suplexes from McIntyre. He hit him with a neck breaker at one point, then did his little kip-up thing, set Roman up on the turnbuckles and, you know, tried to do a superplex or whatever. That didn't work, but then he did hit him with a belly-to-belly superplex off the top rope. That didn't work. Two count. What else happened during the match? My notes are terrible. Yeah, it was a good match. Go watch it. I don't like my notes are trash because I was trying to take notes and have my kid in my arms. You can go watch the live stream so you can see how it was. I didn't even take a lot of notes, honestly. I'm just trying to remember stuff off the top of my head. But it was a lot of kickouts. We saw Roman Reigns hit a spear at one point, and we saw Drew McIntyre kick out, and Roman did the shock face that wrestlers do when people kick out of their finishers, like, oh, you kicked out of the spear, oh no. So that I thought it was over at that point. There was a couple points where I thought Drew might have had it. I'm not sure if he hit the Claymore or he did something, and then I thought, oh yeah, he did hit the Claymore, but Roman knocked the ref out. Shout out to Lil Nate. He was the one reffing this match, you know, legendary referee. So he got, you know, he took the ref bump. He went out. So the shenanigans begin. And this is where things got really fun because these two were beating the shit out of each other. Then the shenanigans happened. And then right when it looked like Drew McIntyre was setting up for another Claymore, he did the whole countdown, 3, 2, 1. And when he started to run, somebody just grabbed his foot and tripped him. And when he got up and turned around, dude had a hood on, pulled the hood off, and it was Solo Sikoa. You know what I mean? Lil Oos. You know what I mean? We're going to call him Lil Oos for right now. But, yeah, Lil Oos came out and helped Big Oos, you know what I mean, do what he do. So Drew was trying, you know, he was trying to get at Solo. Solo roped him, you know what I mean, choked him on the ropes or whatever. He bounced back. Roman Reigns hit him with a spear, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. So that was that. Great end to the match. I kind of saw it coming. That's why I picked Roman. We already mentioned that Solo might be debuting. If Roman won, it would be something to the effect of Sami Zayn or Solo Sikoa winning, just because it keeps Drew strong, because Roman has interference and help. So Roman can still be the big dog, the tribal chief, and Drew McIntyre could still be Drew McIntyre, number 2 in line. I would imagine, or maybe Kevin Owens or somebody like that is stepping up. Oh, Karrion Kross, forgot about him, and Braun Strowman. I would imagine Braun Strowman is going to be doing some things here soon in the main event title picture. At one point, both of the guys were laid out. I guess I should mention this. This is before Solo came out. Both of the guys were laid out. Austin Theory came out and tried to cash in his Money in the Bank, but then what's the boxer's name? Tyson Fury just punched him in the face. You know what I mean? So that was the end of the cash in. So yeah, then they finished the match off. So it was good. No, it was great. I love this main event, especially with all the kickouts, the false finishes at the very end. It got really good. Then there was a bunch of dumb shit that happened after the match, because Tyson Fury decided to get in the ring and sing with Drew McIntyre. Like, that was dumb as fuck. I hated it. I thought it was going to end like in 20 seconds, and it went on for like 5, 6, 7 minutes. I was like, why are they doing fucking sing-alongs? Like, the crowd started singing, but at first even the crowd was uncomfortable. They like, what are we doing here? What's happening? I don't know. Like, it definitely felt like some shit that was supposed to air off air. It wasn't supposed to air. It was supposed to happen, but it wasn't supposed to air. Like, they probably thought that they was cutting the show, the feed. But Peacock kept running the cameras. You know what I mean? They kept the stream going. So we saw all that bullshit. Even Drew McIntyre was like, yo, we still on air? I was out here fucking around. I didn't know we were still on air. So, yeah, man. Great show. Great Clash at the Castle. I hope they do this again. That crowd was crazy. I want to see more shows in front of that crowd. Definitely a hot crowd over there in Wales, man, in Cardiff, Wales. I have a lot of respect for those guys. Even Drew in the post-show media conference just bigged up the fans so much and how great they were, because they definitely showed up in full force and were crazy the entire night. Even for the stuff that wasn't that good, they were still crazy. So shout out to everybody at Cardiff. The crowd was crazy. You guys were great. All the matches were decent to great. Like Sheamus and Gunther, great. I would almost say that's a classic. Just the way those guys beat each other up. Roman and Drew, great match. Great match. All the false finishes, it's just a great match. The story those guys tell, I like those two a lot. They did a good job. Seth and Riddle killed it. I think Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler, although it's not very believable with her beating Shayna Baszler clean, it's just not believable, but it happened. And it was a good match. You know what I mean? It was a good match. So I'm not mad at nothing that happened on the show. The 3-on-3 was whatever. I'm happy that the right person won the match. Damage Control won the match. The pre-show match was, again, whatever. They need to figure out something to do with Street Profits right now. Something that makes sense, but you could tell they're forming the tag division. Oh, I didn't mention that Fabian Eichner came back out with Gunther. So, Imperium is back. That's dope, minus Alexander Wolf, obviously, but Imperium is back full force, and now they got a whole nother tag team that they could insert into the tag team division. We was talking about on the show earlier today how you could see they had 4 tag teams in the ring yesterday on SmackDown all together with Street Profits and Hit Row and Maximum Male Models and Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. You got Viking Raiders, you got New Day, now you got Imperium. You got tag teams now. It felt like WWE had like 3-4 tag teams between both shows at one point. And now you can see that they're building this tag division to be something special, which is good, because they need to. Tag team wrestling is awesome. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they're doing that. My son is so cute. He's in there clapping the Coco Melon. He's so adorable. But yeah, so that was that, man. Let's get right into the blunt ratings. I can show you guys what I thought about it. Hold on, where we go? Right here. Those are my blunt ratings for today's Clash at the Castle. I gave the opening match between Damage Control, Bianca,